It was 2:57 a.m. when I heard the door creak open. Not the quiet kind of creak that old doors make. It was slow, deliberate, guilty. I sat on the edge of our bed, the glow of my phone the only light in the room. I'd been staring at the clock for hours, waiting, listening. When the living room light flicked on, my heart started racing. Not out of worry, but out of something colder, sharper. I told myself not to jump to conclusions, that maybe she was out late with friends again, that maybe her phone really had died this time. But that fragile thread of trust had frayed long ago. The click of her heels echoed through the hallway, each step a nail in the coffin of the story I'd been trying to tell myself. "Laura," I said quietly when she appeared in the doorway, mascara smudged, hair tousled, perfume faintly mixed with something that wasn't hers. She froze. Just for a second. Then she forced a smile. The kind people use when they've already decided to lie. "Oh, you're up," she said, dropping her purse on the dresser like it weighed nothing. "I didn't want to wake you." I didn't respond. I just watched her. "You didn't text," I finally said. "You said you'd be home by 11. She shrugged, walking to the bathroom. "Yeah, we went for drinks after dinner." I lost track of time. My phone died. It was the same excuse she'd used 2 weeks ago. And the week before that. Except this time I knew it was a lie. Because her friend Rachel had posted a group photo hours earlier, at 9:14 p.m., and Laura wasn't in it. I'd seen it while I sat on the couch, the TV playing some meaningless show in the background. I hadn't wanted to believe it. I'd scrolled through the comments, hoping to find a mention of her leaving early, of her being somewhere else. But there was nothing. And now, watching her remove her earrings and hum like everything was fine, something inside me broke. "Laura," I said, voice low. "Where were you?" She glanced at me in the mirror, her expression flat. "I told you. Out with the girls." "Rachel posted a picture," I said. "You weren't there." The silence that followed was thick, suffocating. She stopped moving. Her reflection blinked once, and I saw the panic flicker, quickly buried beneath that calm, practiced tone. "I left early," she said. "I wasn't feeling great." "Then where did you go?" She turned to face me, crossing her arms. "Why are you interrogating me? It's late. Can this wait until morning?" I laughed, a hollow, bitter sound I barely recognized. "You think I've been sitting here for 5 hours just to wait until morning?" Her face hardened. "You're being paranoid again." There it was. Again. That word she'd started using months ago whenever I caught her in a half-truth. Whenever I asked a question that made her uncomfortable. "Paranoid," I said, standing up. "Paranoid is checking my phone every 5 minutes hoping you'll text back. Paranoid is defending you to my friends when they tell me they've seen you with someone else." Her expression flickered. "What?" I stepped closer. "Evan saw you last Friday. Downtown. You were in a car with someone. A guy. He said he saw you holding hands." She blinked rapidly, like she was trying to reset the conversation. "That's ridiculous." He must have been mistaken. But her voice was trembling now, and her hands were fidgeting. Something in me, something I'd been burying for months, finally surfaced. I walked to the dresser, opened the second drawer, and pulled out her phone. Her eyes widened. "What are you doing?" "I went through it," I said. "I know it's not right. But I did. And I found the messages." Her lips parted slightly, like she wanted to deny it but couldn't find the words. "Who is Daniel?" I asked quietly. Her silence was all the answer I needed. "It's strange. The moment you realize the person you love has betrayed you, you think it'll feel like anger or hate. But it doesn't. Feels like nothing. Like every sound in the world suddenly stops existing." She sat down on the bed, burying her face in her hands. "It's not what you think," she said, voice shaking. I wanted to laugh again. "Then please," I said, "tell me what it is." Because the text said, "I miss your hands on me. So help me understand." Tears welled in her eyes, but I couldn't tell if they were guilt or fear. "It wasn't serious," she said. "It just happened. We were having problems and he listened when you didn't. I didn't mean for it to go that far." I stared at her, trying to process the words. Just happened. That's what betrayal always sounds like to the one who committed it. An accident. A moment. But to the one betrayed, it's 1,000 moments, all crumbling at once. "How long?" I asked. She hesitated. How long, Laura? 3 months, she whispered. I nodded slowly, my chest tightening like a fist around my ribs. 3 months. 90 days of lies. 90 mornings of I love you. 90 nights of pretending to be mine. She reached for me, but I stepped back. Please, Ethan, she said, voice breaking. I made a mistake. I ended it. I didn't want to lose you. I looked at her, really looked, and saw someone I didn't recognize. Someone who could cry and still lie in the same breath. You already did, I said quietly. She cried for hours. I didn't. I just sat there, staring at the ring on her finger, wondering when it had stopped meaning anything. Around dawn, the light started creeping through the blinds, soft and golden. She'd fallen asleep on the couch, exhausted from apologies. I walked to the bedroom, opened the closet, and began pulling her things down from the shelves. Shirts, shoes, dresses. One by one. There was no shouting, no grand gesture of rage. Just quiet. The kind that follows the end of something sacred. By 7 a.m., 2 suitcases sat by the front door. Her favorite scarf hung loosely over one handle, a silent farewell. When she woke up, she saw them before she saw me. Ethan, she whispered, her voice hoarse. I stood by the window, a cup of cold coffee in my hands. You should go stay with Rachel for a while. She took a step toward me. Please don't do this. We can fix it. Fix it. I turned, finally meeting her eyes. You didn't just break something, Laura. You killed it. Every time you smiled at me while lying, every time you said, I love you after seeing him. You buried us. Her tears came harder now, but I didn't move. You said you forgave me for my mistakes, she said desperately. You said we'd work through anything. I nodded slowly. I meant that. Until the person I was forgiving disappeared. She stared at me for a long time, like maybe if she looked hard enough, she'd find the man who used to hold her when she cried. But he was gone too. After a few seconds, she grabbed the handles of her suitcases, her hands trembling. She paused at the door. I do love you, she said softly. I looked at her, expression empty. No, I said. You loved what I gave you. Not me. And then she was gone. The apartment felt like a graveyard after she left. Her perfume lingered in the hallway, her mug still sat by the sink, her laughter echoed faintly in my memory. I walked through each room slowly, like saying goodbye to a ghost. Every little thing carried a story, every photo, every note on the fridge. It all hurt. I wanted to hate her, but all I could feel was exhaustion. That night, I sat on the couch and finally let the tears come. Not for her, but for the version of myself that believed love could survive anything if you just held on tight enough. It couldn't. Sometimes love ends quietly. No screaming, no slammed doors. Just a 3 a.m. return and 2 suitcases by the door by morning. And that's how you learn that betrayal isn't always loud. Sometimes it walks in softly, pretending nothing happened. Until you finally decide you've had enough. Weeks later, she texted. I miss you. I made a mistake. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long time. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. I thought about the nights I waited for her, the excuses, the lies. The way she looked when she said it wasn't serious. And then I did the only thing that felt right. I deleted the message. Then I went to the closet, pulled down the last picture of us and put it in a box. Not out of hate, but peace. Because sometimes letting go isn't about anger. It's about finally realizing you deserve a love that doesn't walk in at 3 a.m. like nothing happened.